And welcome everyone to another episode of Isles Talk. I'm your host this evening. My name is Paul Kreischer, and we are going to continue our 2023 NHL season preview of a couple of teams in the Western Conference tonight. I'm not going to do too much on the East. I'm going to do more of the West tonight. We're going to cover the Edmonton Oilers, the Dallas Stars, the Colorado Avalanche, and the Vegas Golden Knights coming out of the West. And out of the East, we're going to cover the New York Rangers because why not? One of my favorite sayings in September when we're doing, uh, when we're doing previews like this, it's you know, in order to defeat your enemy, you must know your enemy. So, um, by the way, boys and girls, Gary was not here with us tonight hosting. We know he's on the train, but at some point he'll be back next week. Supposedly he's traveling, but we'll see what happens. And Joe, once again, is not here. He's a little busy this week. We're hoping to have him back before sometime in the NHL season, but you never know with that back. So, once again, ladies and gentlemen, Gary and Joe will be back at some point. So, let's get started here. Listen, I I really want to talk about Rangers Islanders, but I'm going to hold off just a little bit here. There seems to be a theme in the Western Conference, and it involves two teams that they own their own, they control their own destiny, and then you got two teams. They're kind of like savvy veterans. At least that's the mentality that I'm seeing, and I'm waiting for them more closer to the playoffs, and we're going to see where they're at. But for right now, let's start off with the first team. For all of you joining us, welcome. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, you name it. Dallas Stars fans, welcome Dallas. I'm not gonna lie. This is your division to lose. This is your division to lose this season. Uh, you're solid all the way through. And to help out Dallas fans, Edmonton fans, and around the NHL, I do a very different season preview. I look at the numbers, but I actually have tried to find a theme or story from each team, and I apply that even towards the playoffs, believe it or not, because sometimes these teams make it to the playoffs, they win a round or two, and it's like, how did they do that? I usually go back to the information when I first started in the season, and sometimes I get the answers right there, believe it or not. So for now, Dallas fans, the numbers, they don't have to be exact, but what I look for is healthiness, balance, stability. Dallas has that. I'm looking at 295 goals for you guys this year. 295, and you guys are only supposed to give up 215. Like, yeah, maybe. I don't know if they can win it all this year. They might. They might. But I think the Colorado Avalanche are going to have something else to say about that. This is rivalry night here. Um, Dallas, you're looking real good. The one thing I don't like about Dallas, in all honesty, you guys have close to 518 games per player on this team. That's old. That's old. I'm hoping you guys don't get injured. If you guys stay healthy, this division is yours. If there was ever a time to win the Stanley Cup, this is it. This would be your year. Ottinger, he just has to play to his strength, the goals against average. Scott Wedgwood, as of right now, the backup. Even if he gives up 3 goals a game, you're still looking at Dallas being a nasty 215 goals against. Matthew, I agree with this. Pavelski, when he's healthy, he's clutch. The question is, can Dallas stay healthy? Or was their time last year? Right now, they're looking good. There's not much more to say about Dallas. I really like the way everything is, except for 518 games per player on this team. Pavelski, 1,250 games. Jamie Benn, 1,030. Ryan Suter, 1,362. Even Tyler Sagan's approaching 9. Matt Duchene, 976. There's a lot. There's a lot here. A lot of sexy names. A lot of old sexy names, though. So it'll be very interesting to see how Dallas prepares himself, prepares themselves for the Colorado Avalanche. We'll have Gary chime in here. I do like the Stars' chances. I do. And I agree with that. But let's move on to their current rival, the Colorado Avalanche. Because they are a rival, ladies and gentlemen. Because as right now, and I think even Randy will agree with me on this one, I think it's down to the Colorado Avalanche and the Dallas Stars for the Central Division. I don't think there's going to be anybody else. I don't think Minnesota's going to be able to do it. For me, the Winnipeg Jets, I think they're still going to be a team in transition. Um, I just don't. I don't see any other team competing with those two. Um, Colorado Avalanche. Excuse me here for a moment. Colorado Avalanche, you're up next. Colorado Avalanche, you're looking healthy, even without Gabriel Landeskog. I'm liking what I'm seeing right now. For right now, I'm looking at 253 goals from Colorado's offense and defense, the whole team, total offense. But this defense, I'm looking at 213. Defense and goaltending, I'm looking at 213 goals. That's solid. That's a solid with Georgiev and Francouz. That's a good lineup. I'll take those two goaltending tandems over Dallas's right now. I don't know about Scott Wedgwood. I don't know about Scott Wedgwood. He's the only one I would be nervous about, but if Dallas's defense is solid in front of Wedgwood, Dallas is making the playoffs. I don't think that's going to be any dispute at all. But who's going to get first? Here's the kicker. I don't think Colorado cares. Colorado is going to play that savvy veteran. They're former Stanley Cup champions. They don't care about first place. They don't care about the President's Trophy. The interesting thing right now with the Colorado Avalanche is that each of their players are averaging just under 400 games per player. Just under 400. They got a little younger this year. They've got some room to play with to let these kids play for a solid half season. They've got a couple of good kids on this team. And if they can find their stride, I'm looking to see how well Colorado's going to do in March and April. Kind of like what we saw in the Florida Panthers to an extent, kind of like what we saw in Vegas last year. I think Colorado's going to pull the Vegas Golden Knights. I want to see when this team comes completely healthy come playoff time. And even if Gabriel Landeskog comes back, which would be huge for Colorado, if he were to come back at any point during the season, I think Dallas is in trouble in the playoffs. I think Colorado could take out Dallas in the playoffs. I don't like to jump too far ahead, but that's a matchup I would love to see, hopefully, and I would actually go with Colorado over Dallas. Good night, Gary. I know he's got somewhere to go in all seriousness, but good luck with that. We'll see you later. Um, that's out of the Central, folks. That's the Dallas Stars. That's the Colorado Avalanche. That's real easy, in all honesty. I don't even know if there's going to be a third. Well, there has to be a third team, I guess, to make it to the playoffs. I may give that to St. Louis. I don't. I may give that to Minnesota. I think I'm more comfortable giving that to Minnesota than anyone else at the moment. But I don't think Minnesota. I don't think Minnesota will have enough to beat out Colorado. Let's say Colorado takes second. Yeah, see, that's the nice thing about this map. I'm not sold on Colorado beating Dallas right now. Right now, this is all Dallas is to lose. There's no doubt about it. But they have enough wiggle room where they can make some moves come to trade deadline, and I want to see how healthy this team really becomes. I'm really going to focus on the Colorado Avalanche come March, April, right before playoffs start. If they start hitting on all cylinders, anybody's playoffs. Anybody's playoffs. But for now, this division, regular season, it's Dallas's to lose. It really, really, really is. So again, I don't think Colorado's worried about it. Colorado's going to play their kids for at least the first half of the season, and they'll go from there. I can't see them bombing though. There's too much stability right now. I like where this Colorado Avalanche team is. But that's coming out of the Central. Moving forward to the Pacific Division, we got the Edmonton Oilers. Yeah, Edmonton Oilers. Again, something similar to the Dallas Stars. As far as the regular season goes, I think it's theirs to lose. The division, the Pacific Division, is the Edmonton Oilers to lose. Um, they need to get ready for a Stanley Cup run. That's it. Um, I'm looking at Edmonton. 309 goals. That's what I have them pegged at for now. That'll probably be better at some point. Who knows? Believe it or not, their defense and goaltending. If Skinner and Campbell, especially Campbell can just play to his average over the last 3 years, and if Skinner can have a decent season again, the Oilers are only giving up roughly 225, 230 goals. Yeah. I mean, this is Edmonton's division to lose. I'm going to agree just a hair. I'll give this just a little bit here. LA has a shot, but that's a stretch. I agree with that. I'm going to enjoy watching LA, but again, the Pacific to me, I think you could see 5 teams coming out of the Pacific this year, and like it's almost set. We talked about this 2 weeks ago. Um, but again, that's just the regular season. I still have, and I'm again Calgary. I'm rooting for you. And it's not because Randy's here, but Calgary for me has the numbers to still give Calgary this year. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. But the Edmonton Oilers just have too much offense not to make the playoffs. Like, this is absolutely their division to win. I don't think there's going to be a comeback by Vegas. I don't think there needs to be a comeback by Vegas like they did last season. Again, if the Edmonton Oilers get some solid, long-lasting goaltending, if they become solid, Edmonton's running with it. Edmonton could probably take the President's Trophy. They'd have a legit shot at it. Now, that flip side, this is like that savvy veteran thing going again. This is exactly what the Colorado Avalanche are doing. Oh, by the way, Edmonton, they've only got 438 games per each player. That's solid. For me, that's solid. That's like pristine, prime, right there, ready to go. The Vegas Golden Knights are my next team. Let's take that out, put that in here now. The Vegas Golden Knights, the defending Stanley Cup champions. This is another interesting one. I got the Vegas Golden Knights at roughly 240 goals. They'll probably do better, but they don't have to. because now they have Hill and Thompson backing up. They're in net. They might be the best combination in the Western Conference, maybe even in the NHL. I'll give them props for that. You have a great regular season goalie in Thompson, and for right now, you probably have one of the top money goalies in Hill to get you to the playoffs. Might actually happen. Um, 241 on the offense, 217 for goaltenders and defense. I think Colorado, Vegas. I think they're going to do the same thing Colorado is. They're going to play out the season. They may be a little cup hangover there, but I think Vegas. They're going to play through the season, try not to get as injured, at least get home ice advantage to that first round if they can. And then if they buckle down, defense first, create a lot of those turnovers, a little more of that hot goaltending from both of them. Could they upset Edmonton? They could. They've done it before. They can do it again. Just depends on how tired Vegas is going to be. Could Vegas repeat? It's tough to do in this time. Are they going to go down fighting? No doubt. Who's got the better defense? I may say Vegas. Who's got the better goaltending? I may say Vegas. Who's got the offense? Edmonton. That's going to be a pretty battle. No doubt about it. That's going to be a fun show. I'll tell you right now, I will be watching Vegas and Edmonton when they play during the regular season. None. Without a doubt, bar none. Yeah, yeah. Vegas has very good, Matt. They've got a ton of playoff games the last 5 years. They do. They're already battle tested. So is Colorado. Colorado's also battle tested. I think those two teams just need to get into the playoffs. After that, anything goes. So again, for the Central Division, I think it's Dallas. It's theirs to lose. In the Pacific, it's Edmonton's to lose. But if I'm going to go a deep Stanley Cup run, I'm not counting out Vegas. I'm definitely not counting out Colorado. And what I'm liking out of the Pacific right now, I haven't looked at LA yet. I'm going to soon. And I haven't looked at Seattle yet, but I'm going to as well. I like that. I like those two teams. I still like Calgary. I like Vegas. I like Edmonton. I like all five of that in that Pacific. They are going to be the dominant division for quite some time now, heading into the next couple of years, at least until the collective bargaining agreement. So, rivalries for sure, no doubt. Um, I think Vegas, they're going to make one or two moves throughout the season, maybe at the trade deadline. They're just going to bulk up and get ready. I think they're going to, they're going to try to beat up Edmonton. And we have to see how Edmonton's going to respond. So there's that. So those are some of the quick previews on the Vegas Golden Knights, the Edmonton Oilers, Dallas Stars, and the Colorado Avalanche. These guys, they're all there. I like that. Now, let's head over. And again, I'll be fair about this. Let's talk New York Rangers. Let's talk Rangers. We can talk Rangers. Let's do it. For the life of me, and maybe it's just a media thing, I don't know. The Rangers are on pace right now for 287 goals. That's a good, healthy start. Their defense and goaltending is about to give up 214, give or take. They're at 464 games per player, and yet everyone has them making the playoffs over the Islanders. Anders Lee is too old. Brock Nelson is too old. Okay. Arteri Panarin is going to be 32 this coming season. Chris Kreider is going to be 32 this coming season. Blake Wheeler is not 32 years old. He's much older. Yes, the Rangers do have some good kids in this system. But again, can they play to the system? Now, what's interesting here with me with the Islanders is that we're all hoping Oliver Wahlstrom takes that next step. If Oliver Wahlstrom takes that next step, the Islanders are going places, providing no injuries. It's the same story that Ranger fans have been telling me during the offseason. It's up to Lafreniere and Kako. If they can have their own coming out party, if they can have their own coming out party, the Rangers can be absolutely nasty offensively. Is this the year where we finally see those two youngsters finally produce more than what they've been doing? If you can, that's wonderful for them. That'll alleviate the pressure from Kreider and Panarin, who have to score constantly. It's the same story. The Islanders are looking for youth to score, so are the Rangers. Now, the one thing the Rangers have, the, the one thing the Rangers don't have, in my honest opinion, their backup goaltender's a little shaky here, guys. Let's not mince words here. Jonathan Quick, I don't think is better than Semyon Varlamov. And I'm not trying to be the homer here, but even I've had actual intellectual discussions here with Ranger fans. They're not too keen with Jonathan Quick either. Jonathan Quick and Yaroslav Halak, they might be one half dozen of another, but you know, Jonathan Quick could be one injury away. So I don't know. That's kind of tough for me. I will still take Varlamov and Sorokin over Quick and Shesterkin. But the Rangers stability wise, they're good. I like where they are. Stepping back as an NHL fan, they've got the numbers. The question is, how high can they go? I agree with this, Sean. Has to deal with the East all season. It is a different monster. I agree with that. But again, I'm starting to see the Metro the same as, that Pacific. You've got five teams: Carolina, New Jersey, two New York teams, and Pittsburgh. Out of the Atlantic, you've got Tampa, you've got Toronto, you've got Boston. The other teams, as we've said before in the other shows, Buffalo and Ottawa, I'm worried about their goaltending full time. Florida, I'm just worried about the overall injuries. I don't know how much I don't know how much they're going to be able to take. There's more question marks with those teams. Detroit's another one though. Detroit, I'm a little more confident in, you know. But getting back to the Rangers and Islanders are in the same boat. The goaltending should be there. Yes, the Rangers are probably going to have a little more offense than the Islanders, but both teams are expecting their youngsters to step up this year. If both sets of youngsters step up, look out Carolina, look out New Jersey. It's not going to be as easy as some are going to make it. A lot of teams, a lot of people, a lot of media have Carolina and the Devils 1 and 2, depending on where you are. If Caco, and Lafreniere show up this season in a big way, the Rangers are going to make some noise. They're going to wreak havoc on the Devils during the regular season, no doubt. They may even take a chunk out of Carolina. Who knows? The same could be said for the Isles, but we have to see that. So, as things are starting to shape up and look for my power rankings coming out probably in the beginning of October, we're looking at least five healthy teams coming out of the Metro. I'm looking at a solid three out of the Atlantic. And you know what? Do I include Detroit in that? Do I include Detroit in that? I do. Detroit to me is a little healthier than Buffalo and Ottawa at the moment, but I don't think Buffalo and Ottawa are done making changes yet. And this goes back to my other question regarding the Rangers and the Islanders. Am I finally going to get that playoff series? God, I hope so. I hope so. And I don't even care who's ranked what. The NHL, the state of New York, and every bar, restaurant, you name it, they need the Rangers and the Islanders in a 7 game series, whether it's the first round or the second round. I don't care. Gotta happen. I'm going to be very intrigued to see where those two teams are when it comes to the MetLife game, the outdoor game. If MetLife can sell out, that's what you want. That whole place must get filled up. And if both teams are in that are up here and here battling for first, second, third in the playoffs, even better. The NHL needs to build that up. And I've talked about this with every Islander fan. I've talked about this with every New York Ranger fan. We all want a rivalry again. We all want to play in the playoffs against each other again. Yes, it'll be a lot of fun. Yes, there will be a lot of yelling, but we haven't had a real hockey rivalry since like the Devils and Rangers back in the mid 90s. Honestly, uh, despite what everyone may think, the Rangers and Islanders need each other. They have always needed each other, even more so now. But the one thing that irks me is that all the a lot of media they will still put the Rangers ahead of the Islanders, even though the Islanders have more playoff success in recent years than the Rangers. Go figure. I don't get that. I'm not really bothered by it. I mean, everyone loves to play the underdog, and that's usually what the Islanders do. Is what Islander fans are used to. It's probably what we prefer, but uh, I don't know. Have that outdoor game. Hopefully, that whole thing sells out, and then let's do round one or round two in the playoffs. Islanders, Rangers. The NHL needs it. What do you mean by no one on this Isles team that scares you? Ilya Sorokin scares me. I still don't think you've seen the best of him yet, guys. I still don't think you have. Same could be said for Siskirkin. Are we talking about one player on the Islanders that should scare other teams? No, that's not how they were built. They were meant to be scared as a team, as a whole. Yes, yeah, okay, yeah. Kreider gets his tips in. He gets he gets his tip ins. Sure, there's ways to get around that, but again, that also falls into the same story here. Kreider, 32. Brock's getting into what, 31, 32 as well. Panarin, 32. Anders Lee is going to be 32 or 33. Rangers and Islanders, they all have the same storyline here, guys. Rangers going to turn Kako and Laffy into something big. They could. They could. Imagine that, though. Um, I don't know. For me, I don't worry about rankings. I've never worried about rankings. I've never worried about that kind of pressure. If he's the top three, he don't care. He's worried about winning games. These guys, they'll tell you they don't care much about stats. They worried about the wins and losses. Ranger fans, Islander fans alike. I'm sorry. Rangers and Islanders, those teams, they're worried about the wins and losses. They want to get into the playoffs. Oh, trading Kako and Laffy into a trade. Don't know. Don't know. That would probably be a trade deadline move. Probably. I think you got to give the kids a shot. The problem for the Rangers right now is that I don't want to say it's something out of 94 or 95, but they've traded away a few of their prospects in recent years, and those prospects are doing pretty good with other teams right now. We're down to Kako and Lafreniere for the most part. Let's see who else was here. Give me one moment. I like Jones. Fox is always going to be there, but Fox was never an original Ranger, if I'm not mistaken. Cheadle? I don't know if Cheadle was. Kreider is. So I don't know. Keandra Miller? Love Keandra Miller. No, I agree. Yeah, this is not really a rankings thing. I try not to do rankings as much. I look to see who's healthy, who's ready to go for the season, and I like to get a bigger picture. As an NHL fan, I want to know who I want to watch this year. And for me, I do like where the Rangers are. I'm not gonna lie. Can Sorokin and Varley get the Islanders in the playoffs by themselves? God, I hope not. I hope there's more. They're going to need them because, as I was just saying, you're looking at least five teams going for a playoff spot. But I don't think it's fair to either both Ranger fans and Islander fans to say that it could just be Carolina and New Jersey 1 and 2. I don't think that's fair. I do. I do like the numbers for the Rangers right now. Not gonna lie, they've got something there. It could come down to Shishkin and Sorokin. Absolutely. I would love to see it. But again, for me, between those two teams, give me a playoff series. Please. Devils and Canes are in a league of them to themselves. That could be true. Could be. Could be. But again, I think that's a mask. I love Carolina's defense. I love Carolina's offense from that defense. I've said that many, many times. And look, I'm going to give Fox credit where credit is due. If Fox has a mind boggling year where he racks up a lot of offensive points, Fox could take out Carolina and New Jersey, one or two in the standings. He could elevate the Rangers to an even higher level. I'll give them that. Will they, though? That's the question. And I think that's going to come down to coaching. We got Peter Laviolette. Is he going to be the right coach to get this team where it needs to be? It's going to be a tough one. No doubt. Carolina has very few flaws. I've said this before. The only team who could beat Carolina at this point are themselves. They're the only ones who can beat themselves. And let me ask you, how many games have the Carolina Hurricanes won in the second round of the playoffs? In recent years, how many games? I'm not so much worried about, exact numbers when it comes to the standings. It can go anywhere. Where could these teams be come playoff time? That's what I really start to look at. I look at the NHL season like it's literally a Belmont racetrack, a Belmont race. Who's going to start off good? Who's looking healthy? This is like a physical for all these teams. Okay, who's going to have a good start? If each team is healthy to start the playoffs, who am I going to go with? It comes to all of that. The standings to me, they're okay. It happens. I'm more about who's getting eliminated first rather than who's going to make the playoffs. I'm over that. Laviolette and Pekka, coaching the Rangers. I'm over that. It's been far too long. Is the four a 25 to 30 goal scorer? Not in this NHL. Not right now. No, no. I like William Defoe. I don't think he's a 20 goal scorer yet. I need to see William Defoe absolutely dominate the American Hockey League. Oh, so do I. Yeah, I still have the Pekka orange jersey, Matt. I wear that every October. That's gonna be on. That's gonna be showcased. So that's my preview on the New York Rangers. Do I think they have playoff aspirations? Absolutely. Would I want to see the Islanders or Rangers go at it in the first round or second round? Absolutely. Um, Everybody needs it at this point. So, um, with that, let's do water cooler talk. Me personally, I did enjoy reading that little tribute from Josh Bailey to the fans. Um, he's earned it, and we wish him nothing but the best. And again, he hasn't signed with the team yet. He might not. We're getting to September 13th. You're getting a lot of PTOs. Maybe he won't retire until his contract is finally done, which wouldn't be for another 2 years anyway. Maybe he comes back and signs a 1 year, I'm sorry, a 1 day deal to retire as an Islander. The Islanders would do that for him, but we'll see where he goes. Sean, how do the Isles fill Parisi's role? Great question. Um, I think I said this on the show a couple of weeks ago, and I got it confirmed from Gary. I'll look it up for you guys later. I still think there's a shot for Zach Parisi coming back mid-season. A couple of reasons for that. Number one, he could have an injury we don't know about, but the Islanders don't have to disclose anything because he's not a part of the team. So they're just waiting for him to get healthy. That could be it. Number two, he just may need to spend more time with the family at the moment, and that could be it. So I have always held the door open for Zach Parise to come back at least in December because I think you have to sign a contract. I think sometime in December in order to play for the full season. Um, I'm still holding out for that. Other than that, let's go plan B, C, D, E, whatever. Um, Gautier needs a nice long look at camp. I want to see Ruslan Ishakov get a nice long look. I want to see Simon Holmstrom get a nice long look. I think those three players in particular need an extended camp. Um, the only one who might need an extra well, Gautier needs to clear waivers. The other two don't. So I enjoy the competition between those three players. And I think it's really going to come down to who does JG Pajot feel more comfortable with at this point. Me personally, I Holmstrom can play left wing, but he was always going to be slotted for the right wing side. Ishakov is more of a center slash left winger. Um, is he ready? I want to say he's close. I honestly want to say he's close. He certainly would add more speed to this team, and giving him someone like Pajot would really, really benefit. I'm rooting for Ishakov, but at the same time, Gautier wouldn't be a bad idea either. I know we'd probably be on a third line, but I think he's another player just that needs a legitimate place to play. So they may have a diamond in the rough, but we'll see. That's a training camp. That's a training camp answer for that one, unfortunately, Sean. But I like those three. Personally, for me, though, I think Simon Holmstrom probably should go down one more season, at least half the season, and give him the Devon Taste treatment. Go down until the injuries come up. Thoughts on the whole Babcock rumor with the player photos from their phones? Oh, why? Why? It Stuff like that just doesn't work anymore. You know, that's just so tough. You don't see any other coach doing that. You don't hear about it either. I don't know. Investigation time, I guess. I don't know. Who ran out of gas? Let me know who. Is he a goal scorer? Yes and no. He does pretty well in the American Hockey League. I think he's just there for added competition. If he can earn himself a contract, he'll get one. Fashing. I'm looking for a bigger year from Hudson Fashing this year. I think this is going to be. Have you ever heard? Give me for 1 minute, guys. Have you ever heard Butch Goring say he became an Islander during the 80-81 season, even though he won the cup with them in 80? I think this is going to be the same thing for a couple of these players. I think Hudson Fashion's really going to become a New York Islander this season. What that entails, I think he's going to score more than 10 goals. I like he is an Islander. He can play the Islander game, and a full season with Hudson Fashing. I'm expecting a better all around game from him this coming season. So I do like Hudson. And I'm also expecting that from Enval. I'm expecting that from Horvat, a breaking out of sorts from Wallstrom. For me, this is a good year for them. Yeah, no, I do like Hudson Fashion. I do like Hudson Fashion. And that was the other thing between the Rangers and the Islanders. The only major difference between the Rangers and the Islanders is that the identity line is still here. They're the only old ones, guys. That's it. If you were to remove Cal Clutterbuck from the Islanders roster, the Islanders have that same amount of games per player as the Rangers do at this point. There's really no difference except, the Islanders have a little more experience and that's coming from the identity line. And you want the identity line for the playoffs. The Rangers don't have that. So, so any other Islander questions? Anything? Also, water cooler talk. Isaiah George signed a 3-year deal. Good for him. Someone had Angie Wilburn had asked me if there was a chance that uh, he could be exempt and play straight to the American Hockey League instead of the Ontario Hockey League. No, I don't think they will. I think, and that would be burning an entry level deal 1 year off the entry level deal. I don't think they're going to do that. At the same time, for right now, I'm not putting Isaiah George as a top 4 defenseman. I think he's going to be at best a bottom pair, but a very steady bottom pair defenseman. Uh, I think he'll go back uh, to the Ontario Hockey League where he'll learn from Hunter uh, over in London. And depending on how Isaiah George's season goes, he'll either start with uh, Bridgeport or he may come up for the Islanders, the big club, during the playoffs. Who knows? But Isaiah George needs a lot of playing time this season in the Ontario Hockey League. And Thomas is going all over the place here. Yes, lots of numbers. But that salary probably won't kick in until next season. I'm glad they got him signed. That's another good prospect sign. So we'll see where that leads us. So, any other questions, comments, concerns? Any other teams? Ask away. I do plan on having more guests this coming season. Um, we're going to change up the intro a little bit, but I'm hoping to have Gary and Joe here on a more consistent basis. Odelia is coming over for camp. I want to say yes. I'm hoping he does. He is quietly becoming he's not a favorite of mine, but I'm looking for another strong season from him. Just getting more minutes. And I think if he's part of the World Junior Championships, I would like to see him play more minutes as those games get more and more important. That for me will be a big one. Because again, I'm not expecting the world out of him. I'm not expecting 10 to 15 goals and 30, 35 points out of him when he's an NHLer. He's going to be another solid bottom pair defenseman if he comes up. His height's going to be a little bit of an issue, but you know, we'll see. I think he'll play overseas 1 more year. Rumor has it, rumors are that Liuk plays in Bridgeport this year. Yes, I like that. I actually like that. In my honest opinion, I think Liukis is going to replace Matt Martin at some point. But if you want my honest opinion, I think Matt Martin is going to get a 1 year deal, so that way he can get to his 1,000 games. And I think by that time, I think Liukis will probably be able to take over the reins as long as he learns the North American game a little bit better. Um, and then he can take over those reins at the left wing on the left wing side. I don't know. Good question on Romanov. I don't know where he's going to go. He's not ready to start camp, but that doesn't mean he may not be ready to start the season. Either way, I think it's a good opportunity for Samuel Bolduc to really show what he's got in camp. So there's a lot of good young Islanders who need to show up this camp. Ishikov, Holmstrom, Bolduc, um, William DeFore, Oliver Wallstrom. We're looking at the 18, 19, 20 draft class right now. I think those guys really need to show what they have at camp. So I'm looking forward. Again, when it comes to preseason, boys and girls, I don't pay any attention to it. I don't. I don't pay any attention to it. Um, if I know some of these younger players are making a good impression, wonderful. Write that down. We'll keep them around for later. I'm not expecting most or any of them to really stay that much longer. I would like to see those kids that I mentioned before make a name for themselves, you know, earn their way to stay a little longer and have the Islanders take their time in really making that decision. Yeah, yeah. I really get the trick to the preseason guys is that you want to see if they're in game shape, which they should be. You want to see if there's literally any kind of speed development out of all of them. You're also looking to see if the game is coming to them, if you know what I mean. Or have they reached a particular level where it's looking very easy for them to play? That's what you're looking for. You're not looking for anything specific. You're not looking to see if they can beat out another player at this point. Because, again, as we've already talked about, the first 10, 15 games for the Islanders are going to be crucial, especially in October. You're going to want your regular vets there playing 100% ready to go. But again, you need some of those kids, maybe one of those kids to be absolutely ready because they are going to be thrown right into the fire. So there's a lot to watch. Would I be shocked if the Islanders made a move? No, I would not. I don't think it would have to be a major trade. Maybe trade a couple of players for someone on that third line. Maybe. But I think at this point, I think for now, they're going to give the young kids a shot, which is what I think they should do. And if it doesn't pan out, you bring Parisi back for half a season. That's fine. They can do that. Out of anyone who can play left wing, the most efficient, it would probably be Ruslan Ishakov for me. He's the one I'm rooting for. Now, at the same token, flip it. If Ishakov gets sent down along with William DeFore, I want them both to dominate the American Hockey League. Like I'm talking 20, 25 goals. I'm talking 60 points. I want them to rock the American Hockey League's world. Top 10, both of them in scoring. That has to happen. I got to see, and even Simon Holmstrom, I need to see more offensive output. I need to see his overall game really come together this year. Um, this is a big year for Simon Holmstrom, whether it's down in the minors or with the big boys. Big year for him and Ishikov. So, anything else? Beautiful. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming on. Don't forget to, oop, bearing injury. Do not want to see Holmstrom. Should be in Bridgeport. Yeah. Yeah. And remember, I've always had Holmstrom replacing Josh Bailey at some point, but Josh Bailey was supposed to play this final year. So I always had Holmstrom down in Bridgeport this season. If he comes up because of injury, wonderful. But that's the only time. Ishikov really didn't play that much with Terry and Andrew Hoff. They did on the occasion. I know there was an interview going on with that, but Ishikov was playing with everybody. Yeah, Ishikov was literally playing more of a two-way game, and when they needed more offense, that's when he was put with Terry and Andrew Hoff. But Ishikov was really learning more of the two-way game when he was down in Bridgeport. He's got to see he is literally the Matt Barzell of the American Hockey League. He is. That's who he is. He is Matt Barzell of the American Hockey League. But the problem is the rest of the AHL knows that as well. So they used to stand him up at the blue line. So again, how they want to, work Ishikov this season is going to be a big question. Holmstrom will clear waivers. He's got this 1 year on the ELC. He's good. Everybody's good except for Gautier. He's the only one that if the Islanders were to waive him, he's the only one who could get claimed. Everybody else, they're all good to go. But yeah, Ishakov, there's a lot to like here. I've always been rooting for. So, boys and girls, this is it. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll try to be there, Sean. Boys and girls, thank you for coming on. Next week, I'm going to do another show. Over the next 2 weeks, we're going to finish up the season preview, and then I'm going to do my power rankings. Again, the rankings aren't, they're much different than other rankings. It's more or less of who's really healthy to who needs a lot of work. Who's going to be ready at that starting gate when the race finally starts. So don't take everything with a grain of salt, but take a look at where your team may be. Don't forget to follow Isles Talk on Twitter at Isles Talk. Don't forget to follow Isles Talk on Facebook and YouTube. Please hit that like and subscribe button. We're going to have a few more changes coming up, and we're going to do a few more shorts on YouTube as well with a few more short videos as well. Next week, I'm not going to lie, I may just cover the rest of the Central Division, and I think we're going to do LA and Seattle. We're going to finish them up. And out of the East, I may want to do Tampa or Washington. So we'll finish up the West next week for sure. And then after that, maybe we'll finish up the East after that. And then October hits and we're ready to go. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thanks for coming on. Let's go Islanders. And we will see you next week.